Friends, family, fans, welcome to episode 81 of Back 9 Bets. It's your boy, the Model Maniac, aka Byron. Back at you with a nice 4K camera. Look at this bad boy. You can see my Dwight Schrute looking sunglasses here, looking pretty fancy. We've got some lights, we've got some camera, we've got some action. The whole Hollywood shebang heading into the 2024 year. Looking forward to a fun and festive season with you. If you had a rough time last year, it's okay. It's a brand new year. If you had a great year, make it a greater year this year. There's many opportunities heading into the new year. It's going to be a fun time with golf. It's going to be a great time kicking it off in Hawaii. Got some of the best golfers in the world, minus John Rahm and Cam and the boys. But hey, it is what it is. Get some great golf early on in the year. Some nice, fun 4 rounds of guaranteed golf, just like Jay Monahan desired. And off we're going to go. So it's going to be a fun start. We got the Tournament of Champions, and we are going to look into some outrights. We don't have the best placement market out there. I'm not necessarily that thrilled about betting top 10s, but I do have a few takes that I will be getting into regarding the Scotty Scheffler a little bit, how to take advantage of his situation. Talk a little bit about the article I wrote about dead heat rules, which can absolutely burn you. But looks like there's been a few places that are now playing ties in full. So lots of fun stuff there. We can dive into what I think the course is going to play like a little bit and check out all of that jazz. So, as always, the show is brought to you by rotoballer.com. Go over there, grab our premium stuff. It is ultra affordable. Our team is getting stacked to the max. Use code MANIAC for 10% off. You get my showdown models. After each round of golf, you get my PGA stat buffet that'll be coming out tomorrow. Breaking 100 is free. And we've got value plays as well, which we'll be kind of going through here a little bit too. So if you do that, you also get Spencer Aguilar's top tier picks. You get Joe Idoni. We got Joe Nicely and Joe Idoni rocking and rolling both in there. Joe I's in the Discord sharing some of his great matchups that I've been crushing lately. Our Discord's going to be starting to pop. It's going to be one of my biggest things this year is getting that Rotoballer PGA Discord up and running like a sexy son of a gun. And we're going to do that with your help. So go ahead, use code MANIAC, get yourself 10% off the season-long annual pass. It's the best bang for your buck. You won't regret it. And if you don't like it, there's a clause that says get your money back guaranteed. But let me know if you don't, because I want to know why and I want to know when. So anyway, without further ado, we are hyped. We are excited. We got the Hawaii shirt on. This is an authentic shirt from Hawaii. Also, quick little talk about Waialae Country Club coming up next year. No, we'll talk about that next week when we got the Sony. I got a little story about Waialae. But bought the shirt in Hawaii on my honeymoon. Got the Jets hat that looks pretty festive. Anyway, enough about what I look like. Let's see what the model and the course looks like this week. Some key stats going into the week here, friends. Let's take a quick peek here. As you can see, distance, 5% more correlation than tour average. Accuracy, 11% less correlation. Total driving, 4% less. So as you can expect, massive wide fairways, not that big of a advantage to anyone really with a good driver, aka it is what it is. Then as we keep on scooting down here, I'm showing you nothing. We're rusty. We are rusty and not able to be trusty right now. The screen isn't wanting moving. We got all sorts of weird stuff going on here. Give me 2 seconds. Oh boy. We got our first malfunction of the show, and it's going to be a rough one here. There we go. We got movement. We have movement. Let's dive into it. Apologies for that. As you can see now, we've got not that big of a deal off the tee. What you want to do is really focus in on approach play. It's 3% more important, specifically from that 100 to it's everywhere. You know, you're going to see a lot of shots getting taken place from all over the place here. Ideally, you want to dial in your wedges. Ideally, you want to be very good from 150 to 175. Typically, the last little while, 20% of shots have come from 150 to 175. So if there is a specific range you want to key in on, that's the one. My man Brian in here saying golf 2024, let's go. Hope all is. Brian, everything's fantastic. I've been sick. I've had rashes, but I'm over all of that. And we are starting to do the dashes. You know, we're busting rhymes and not committing crumbs, baby. It's going to be a fun time on Back 9 Bets this year. Scott Holdridge, obviously in the chat, can't post what he's doing because there's profanities, but I love you, and also it is what it is. Love you, Scotty. And no, not to mean to call you out there, but I sentiment what you said. To get back to the model here, we're drinking a strawberry high noon. Wife's allergic to them, so we're getting them. That's good stuff. Approach play, 3% more important than tour average. Love to see that. 35% of the strokes gained are associated with approach. Around the greens, I don't think it's going to be that important. Spencer and Joe, I don't think, that can be the differentiator, the difference maker. Around the green play, I don't think so. Correlations agree with me. Maybe there's an angle there, either side. Maybe for some DFS, throw a few stingy around the greeners into your lineups. Strokes game putting, also, as you can see, hit and miss. Last year, whoever won it was what? Johnny? Was it Johnny that won it? Just went rogue on the back nine there when Colin was full meltdown mode. 6.3, correlation percentages there, which is pretty impressive for 2023, considering everything else never quite cracked the sixes. As you can see, the proximity bucket's not that crazy. It's relatively ho-hum situations here. As you can see, between 125 and 200, there's a far less amount of shots that take place from those ranges compared to tour average, although there's still a lot more shots that take place from those ranges, right? So you're going to see less than tour average, but it's still the majority of the shots. So it's kind of an interesting situation. It's just general approach play is going to be key. However you want to get it done, I feel like is the motto of this week. However you want to get it done is however you get it done. There's many ways to skin a cat, especially in Hawaii, So tell that to your in-laws when you see them for a belated Christmas. As you can see in the scoring metrics, this golf course just plays severely under par. I mean, it's as easy as a college senior as she's leaving the bar on a Tuesday. It's just what it is, and off we go. So course yardage, way longer than tour average, but much easier because of these wide fairways. Massive driving distance improvements, driving accuracy, also pretty much above tour average, even though these boys are banging it out there. And then the fairway width, you can see it's like 15 yards wider than the tour average. So there's lots to be excited about, 11 yards, whatever. And then, the penalty strokes, not nearly as much. There is a few random spots here and there that you can hit your bush, get your ball in a bush, but that's what it is. Enough of the course. Let's dive into the Sentry Tournament of Championship model here. It's way zoomed out, so let's zoom this bad boy in a little bit. Kind of hide one or two columns that I have not managed to take out of the equation, because it's been a tough start to the year. We got accounting going on. The accounting situation to start off the year is brutal. Day one of accounting for my world, brutal. Yesterday, New Year's Day, we had to do a whole bunch of golf stuff. I was not nearly as productive as we were, so hang in there with me. We're going to get through this. Right off the bat, let's talk about Scotland Yard Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler, 11K, 30% ownership, world number one, the reigning champ from the Hero World Challenge last week, doing his thing. As we can tell, his season top 20 rate has been poorly adjusted over here, but I want to take a quick look at his T10 rate. I've adjusted it to 71% of the time. He's finishing inside the top 10, typically at 67, and that excludes the Match Play Championship. That excludes the Hero World Challenge, all those random Tour Championship events. Doesn't include those. He is a T10 freak. Minus 200 at Bet365 for a top 10, ties paid in full, or minus 175 for a top 10 on DraftKings. So if you are in the mood, and now, as I say that to you, do I go with minus 200 at BetMGM for ties paid in full, or Bet365 ties paid in full, or do I go with 175 and risk the ties not getting paid in full, but get better odds? That is the question we've all asked ourselves. And guess what, folks? During the off season, I dived into that stuff and figured out exactly what these guys, the mathematical situation is behind this. And it turns out the best time to bet top 20 bets, okay, not going to be top 10s, but I'm assuming it's the same thing. The best time to bet a top 20 bet without ties paid in full is when it's negative odds. So your probability, as we type in, say, let's do minus 125 just to see what it would be. The implied odds for minus 125 when this computer finally gets its ass into gear is going to show up somewhere in the 60 range, okay? Minus 200 is 67%. So maybe it's a little shy of 60. But minus 200 means 67% of the time that bet should be cashing. That's the implied probability. When you're betting without ties paid in full, you want to go to those bets because they are more likely to happen. However, when you're betting a guy 56% for minus 125, 67% for minus 200. So the difference in percentage isn't that much between 125 and 200. You know, it seems like a big one when you have to bet $20 to win 10 versus $12.50 to win 10. But hey, that's what you get for an extra 11%. So ask your boss for an 11% raise and see how thrilled he is about that. Anyway, the reason why these bets don't need to be paid ties in full is because they're more likely to happen. If you think about guys that are getting negative odds, it's the good guys. It's the guys like Scotty Scheffler that when he finishes inside the top 10, it's likely to be, you know, 6th, 5th, 4th, inside the top 5 kind of thing. When you think about guys finishing inside the top 20 with negative odds, they are going to be good golfers that tend to find themselves contending for the championship, contending for the win. They're not going to be messing around with those ties paid in full situation. So you can easily get yourself good value when you go ties not paid in full, but better odds. And for me, this year, we on Back Nine Bets are going to be using 15 points of value. So for every 100 points that you add to your ties paid in full, you need 15 more points of value. So for instance, at minus 175 here on DraftKings, for a top 10 for Scotty Scheffler, I would go with that because it's 25 points of value. It's a way more likely bet to take place. The ties paid in full at minus 200 is 67% of the time. So 2 out of 3 times that's going to be happening. You feel me? So it's all good. Like, he's likely going to finish inside the top 10 without having a dead heat situation. Most of the time, it might even happen this time. Who the hell knows? But over the long run, taking the negative odds will be beneficial to you if you take them without ties paid in full, as long as you're getting at least 15 points of value in addition to that. When you get into the plus money bets, it's guys like, for instance, let's take a look at some plus money individuals here. Let's go with a Xander Schauffele at plus 130 for a top 10. If you take a look at his top 10 rate, it's only 21%, right? So, like, he's not necessarily going to be finding himself in the mix for the top 10 that often. This computer is dead slow today. Holy balls. We won't be typing too much at all, but we're talking a lot. So that's what you're going to be getting from me. But I just want to tell you, like, a guy with plus money odds is less likely to be finishing inside that bet, right? Like, the plus money is nice. It's juicy. It's appetizing. 10 to win 13. But the chances are 43% implied for a top 10. Don't look at the value because the value doesn't matter because that's for the top 20s. But we're telling you now, the more the plus money bets, the more the beneficial thing comes in when the ties played in full. Because the plus money bet means it's going to be 43 to 50% chance that the guy's going to be right around the mix there. He's not going to be contending for the win. He's going to be floating to the closer side of the top 20 or the top 10. So you want the ties paid in full. So when he does finish 9th, you get paid out entirely T9 with 3 other guys. You get paid out the best. So that's knowing that you're not going to have to wait for one other guy to make a bogey to fall out of the ties dead heat situation. Then you're in good shape. Emotional, financial benefits to each one. You know, you can't put a price on emotions. Whew! Isn't that some fun, nerdy crap? But yes, that article, I'll put it in the tweet, in the description below. It's also the pinned tweet that I have on my Twitter profile. So, without that all being said, Scotty Scheffler, guy's a freak. Just won the last tournament he played in. The putter seems to be moving in the right direction. The guy's growing a full-on beard. He's taking on Jon Rahm's role. He probably ate Jon Rahm, you know? And now he's turned into him. And Scotty. So, as you can see, approach play, off the tee play, scintillating stuff recently. If you put Scotty Scheffler on an easy golf course, he tends to take advantage of that quite nicely. And I want to point out that we are not even looking for safety because we're getting all of that crap out of the way. We want to talk about easy scoring conditions. To me, this is one of the most important things this week. It's birdie or better rates are good. Me and Spencer spoke about this on our Rotoballer PGA show yesterday. Go check that out on the Rotoballer YouTube channel. It is out there for your viewing pleasure. But he mentioned you don't want to play guys that have good birdie rates that typically, what course was that played on? Was it on easy scoring conditions that all those birdies were made? Are the birdie or better rates for certain people like Scotty better on a difficult golf course because he's just that much better at making birdies on tough venues compared to his playing partners who are all playing in the same events, right? So you're going to get guys like Ludwig and guys like Eric Cole who find themselves with birdie or better rates that are a little more appealing because they've been playing a lot of fall golf. So that's why their stuff's going to be that much better. So if you take a look at Aberg, the birdie or better rates in the fall been scintillating. But do they match up to Eric Cole? Do they match up to Cantley? Do they match up to Scotty? Because they haven't been playing the same courses. But what they do know is they play courses that are easy or difficult on the PGA Tour. An easy course means you will have the top 5 golfers on the, and off we go. Scotty Scheffler, look at easy scoring conditions, and he does it well. The best in the field. So we're going to be playing Scotty in DFS. We're going to be betting Scotty. We got a minus 200 ties paid in full because it was the exact same as the DK number until I'm looking at it now, and it dropped by 25 freaking points. So if I were you, DK minus 175 for a casual top 10 for Scotty Scheffler. My main man, Sweet Spot DFS, a.k.a. Dobbo, in the house. What's up, my brother? Been a while since I've seen you. Thanks for tuning in. Scotty Scheffler, minus 200 at Bet365. Ties paid in full for a top 10. It's a go. The implied odds are 67%. His adjusted T10 rate on the season is top 10, 71. Bang. It's a smaller field. Half these guys don't even ever dream of finishing inside the top 10. Look at these top 10 numbers all the way at the bottom here. So there's 59 guys in the field. What is this? Freaking 13 of them aren't even cracking the top 20. Like 20% of the time, they're not even seeing the top 10. So that's kind of what we kind of thinking here. We feel like there's a bit of value, even though it's a negative bet, odds-wise. So next up, Victor Hovland. The guy's been playing great golf, but I feel like it's been a long time. And I've mentioned this on the few shows we've done so far. There's this course history narrative. There's this recent form narrative. Recent form heading into an event like this, the last 24 rounds, doesn't really mean diddly squat. That could have been 2 months ago. You tell me what you were doing 2 months ago. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing 2 months ago. I was watching some golf, obviously. But that was the last time golf was being played. So, you go through spells, you go through form, you go through spurts in your life where you do things better and you eat well, you diet, you exercise. 2 months ago, I was a lot skinnier than I am now. Who knows what Victor's situation is? Not saying he's fat, but who's saying that he's the player that he was when he was breaking my heart at the BMW Championship and doing those kind of things. But his last 24 rounds, he's first in the field, off the tee, on approach, also second in the field there behind the Scottster. Now, the easy scoring conditions for old Big Dick Vic is not necessarily that exciting in the last little while. 29th in the field in easy scoring, even though he does make a decent clip of birdies, I believe. Let's take a quick little look-see here. We got to get the model figured out. But he makes a lot of birdies, but he doesn't tend to do it on easy scoring conditions. Like the bogey avoidance rate for Victor can get a little out of control. Then the par 5 scoring is also a little concerning. We got 4 of them on this tournament, and he's 15th in that department. And it's typically got to do with his around the green play that's been a little neglectful to his success overall. 45th in the field. He's been pretty bad at that chipping stuff. But if you take a look at his recent around the green play, it's migrated a lot more towards field average at 24th. So there's a lot to be desired on Victor's course setup situation. Feel free to do whatever you feel like doing. But if I were to pick between one of these two guys to play in DFS a lot, it's going to be Scotty Scheffler. Someone I'm the most excited about, however, and he's third in the model. He is Patrick freaking Cantley, friends. And he is available for 16-1 at Caesars right now. I think you can grab that for a win. Got a 17-1. Drop that in the Discord there. Use code Maniac to jump into the Discord with me and Joe Idoni and Spencer. We're doing all our picks in there before they make their way into the articles because sometimes lines can shift and the 17 becomes a 16. And, some people appreciate that. So Patrick Cantley, 17-1. He's on the betting card. He's going to win this tournament. And I can tell you why. So we're using some comp courses for this venue, and we will go through them real quick. Augusta National Golf Course is one of them. Let's actually pull up a nice little random thing here and just see how it goes. Z2A, is that going to be red or is that going to be green? Oh, we're also filtering with this computer acting like a slug. But while we buffer on the Excel not responding, Augusta National, the Riviera Country Club, where they play the Genesis Invitational, Torrey Pines North, the easy side where the fairways are wide open out there at the Farmers. Oh boy, let's get this out the way. Another filter. And go from there. So Tom Kim leads the field in strokes gained on these calm courses because he's won twice at TPC Summerlin, at the Shriners. Wide open fairways, bigger greens, big, easy scoring conditions. Just love to see it, right? So that's exactly where we're going in this department. We're going Augusta, the Riviera, and particularly TPC Summerlin. You only get one round of golf per year at Torrey Pines, but we threw it in there because we go the extra mile here on back nine bets. And as you can tell, Patrick Cantley finished runner-up to Tom Kim at the Shriners. He's played well at the Genesis. He typically played a little bit better, I think, at Augusta. He had a top 10 there last. And he's just a good golfer on these kind of calm courses. So we'll see what he can get up to. The course history for him is also sixth in the field, pretty solid, some good stuff. I love me some Patrick Cantley. He's an easy scoring beast, fifth in the field in easy scoring. Love that. He's off the tee on longer courses. He's third in the field. Very good driver of the golf ball. And then you kind of just scoot over here to the birdie or better rates. And he's first in the field for 2023. Kind of lost the plot a little bit over the last 24 rounds. I think he's going to be back in action, going hard at the paint in Hawaii for us. Second in the field in par 5, scoring also can't go wrong there. So it's been a long week for me. It's only Tuesday, I know. But Patrick Cantley, plus 115 on DraftKings. Plus 125 on BetMGM. Bet365 out there throwing some delightful numbers. If you want to go and grab yourself a Patrick Cantley top 10 at plus 125, ties paid in full at Bet365, get that. The rest of the books all have plus 115. Do not be betting, friends, and I repeat this. Do not be betting any of your placement bets at FanDuel or BetRivers. They have the same house rules. Their rules suck. They take your stake and they divide it by the dead heat, and then they multiply the odds. No dice. No dice. DraftKings gives you your stake back. They divide your payout by the dead heat rules. So you're always going to get your $10 you bet back, and then the fraction of the dead heat. FanDuel, BetRivers, they, trying to pick my nose and my glasses in the way, they take your stake. They take your $10. Say there's 5 people that were dead heated for. That $5 turns into 2, and then you times it by the 1.25 that you get for Patrick Cantley at plus 125. So just to point that out, go read the article. It's all described, descripted, disgusted in that in that article. It's very nerdy. It's awesome. It's a great resource. Go check it out. Patrick Cantley, plus 125 at Bet365. Can grab that at DraftKings for plus 115. Delightful stuff there, I think, at a T10 rate of 37% of the time. We'll take it. We will take it. We'll see what the numbers show you when this thing keeps, I don't know what's going on. We've got some seriously, I'm streaming myself in the background. That's probably why. Okay. We're going to figure it out. We're trying to make some space for the memory here. But Patrick Cantley, I think he's due for a win. We've been on him a few times when he's finished second. Things have been tricky. Things have been sluggish. But we're going to find success by going back to the Patrick Cantley well. We're going to wait for that ice to turn into water, and we're going to swim in the deep end of the victor's circle with Patrick Cantley. So give us that. Look at this. The implied odds at 44% when he does it 37% of the time. But this field is so much smaller. It's going to be a little easier to do so, especially with the comp course and the track record at this venue. So we're going to cover our bases there. And then the rest of our bets are all each ways. That's going to be how we roll today. That's going to be how we roll. Xander Schauffele, out of everyone at the top here, 21% of the time he's inside the top 10. He has been playing some good golf recently. I understand that. He does have some good course history. I understand that. But we've got Xander Schauffele, friends, at $10,000 on the DK price map here. And we've got the likes of Max Homer, Colin Morikawa. I'm not going to say Ricky Fowler, but just those two guys in particular. They underneath him in price. They're shorter, they're cheaper. Both of them have won, one of them multiple times last year, one of them recently. What has Xander done? Just floated into contention as always. He just doesn't like to be in the mix. He doesn't like to play his best golf when the lights are brightest. We saw that at the Ryder Cup. I'm out. If he's going to be uber chalk, I'm out. 25% at 10K, and you haven't won a tournament in the last year. I'm sorry. Can't do it. Now, I know Patrick Cantley hasn't either, but there's a lot more leaning me towards Patrick Cantley than Xander. I feel like Cantley's been in the mix. He's had a chance to do it outside of when he freaking dunked his ball into the water at the FedEx St. Jude. Xander, on the other hand, just doesn't get it done. Just doesn't get it done. I know this course is a good setup for him. I know he likes his venue. I'm out. Can't do it. It is what it is. Moving on. I've bitched about Xander on multiple other podcasts. Go check them out. Eric Cole, 5th in the model, friends. 5th in the model. This guy is balling out right now. $7,400 on DraftKings for DFS. 14% ownership projected right now. It is a Tuesday evening. I don't know where that's necessarily going to go, but we are all in on this dude. What is his top 20? What is his top 10? We've also got this guy for an each way at 60-61 at Bet Rivers. Now, the each way will be implied that it's got those dead heat rules where they can absolutely butcher you, but we give it a crack, right? We're going to give it a crack. Hopefully, it's not a tie for whatever. Hopefully, it's just a fair 5-person payout. But if you want to take a look at Eric Cole, you got to scroll down the board here. He's plus 400 for a top 10. And he's finished inside the top 5. 4 out of the last 5 times he's teed it up. There have been fall events. So, whatever. It is what it is. Top 20 for Eric Cole is the best you can find out there. That's top 10s again. Let's find a top 20 for him, because that's what we're here for. Eric Cole is plus 140. You're getting plus 140 for Eric Cole to finish inside the top 20. He's been doing that 30% of the time. And the majority of those recent top 20s have come recently. The recent top 20s come recently. Breaking news. But he's been playing great golf. His dollar per DFS point is one of the cheapest out here. The guy is very affordable. He's playing sensational golf right now. He hasn't played here before, but we bet him at 60-61 to win this tournament because we believe he's playing great golf. The odds are fair, and we also bet it for an each way. So I think he got a very good chance at 16-1 to finish inside the top 5 at this venue. Why? Because one thing he doesn't do very well. There's 59 players playing this week, and he's 50th in the field in strokes gained off the tee. He's 52nd in accuracy and 40th in distance. So nothing about his driver is good relative to his playing peers. However, the guy, as you can tell, he would be sensational out the rough because you can't be that good of an iron player if you can't hit out the rough because he's in the rough all the time. But they're in the field from 150 and out of the rough. He is very, very good on approach. He's been playing some great golf. He's 9th in the field in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds. And most of those rounds have been pretty recently for him. And I'm sure he's been playing consistently throughout the break. So we'll see what he can get up to. His biggest weakness off the tee, not going to be a problem at these massively wide fairways. Remember, they're 11 yards wider than PGA Tour average. That's going to help him out a lot. He gets off to great starts, doesn't necessarily finish the strongest in round 4, but he's been more and more, as you subject yourself to that pain and suffering, us Eric Cole truthers have been doing recently, he's getting more and more used to it. He's feeling a little more frisky on a Sunday versus tentative, So there's a lot to be excited about for him going into the future, and we can see what he gets up to. If you don't want to do that, and you want to bet him for a first-round leader or a top 5 after the first round, that's his best split. So feel free to dive into that one and take it away. Like, look at this. Just to prove my point about Xander. Strokes gained average in this field. Second in round 1, 5th in round 2, 26th in round 3. Why? Because he's played well on Thursday and Friday, and then he gets in the mix on Saturday, and then just Xander poopy down the leg, you know? It's one of the worst numbers out of everybody out here that's really, really good, not named Eric Cole. And that Sunday round is a problem. It's a serious, serious problem. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know where we're getting 133s in here, but the model got fired up for the first time in a while. Like I said, it's been a long little while, but 133 for Ludwig, also not very good. We'll get to him here shortly. But I'm out on Xander. We obviously in on Eric. We love what he can get up to, especially in the first round. Some showdowns, some first round leaders, some first round top 5. Definitely we're doing that as we see. I think the pairings just came out. We'll take a peek at the weather later this week. Someone else I'm kind of interested in is Tyrrell Hatton. The guy kind of ended his season a little rough. The comp courses don't quite make that much sense. His easy scoring conditions is a little worse than Victor's in 23rd over there, but he's a good driver of the golf ball, plays well on the long courses, gets his stuff figured out. But I think Tyrrell's strength lies coming out of the rough. From 150 and out of the rough, he leads the field. There's not going to be a lot of those opportunities. So, in fact, I take back everything I said, but I'm looking forward to Tyrrell early in the season when we get to the Florida swing in particular. You know, he seems to play his best golf early, and he kind of just fizzled away as the season unwound. So we'll leave him alone at $9,200. We're not going to talk too much about him. Wyndham Clark, on the other hand, friends, family, and fans, look at this. Fizzled the hell out. Guy's been doing hardly anything productive. But if you take a look at distance off the tee, he's 4th in the field. He's also the US Open champion and the Wells Fargo champion. So the guy, you think about, you know, LACC is probably another kind of good comp for this venue. The wide open fairways, a little bit, you know, the green's relatively large, easy scoring conditions early before they baked it out. Hawaii's not going to get that baked. Don't know if weed's even legal there, but we know the fact that he plays good golf on courses where his driver can spray. If you take a look at his driving splits, the distance is 4th in the field and accuracy is 50th. To me, that screams Kapalua. I mean, we can expect this guy to find himself inside the top 5 in driving maybe by the end of the week, but particularly with that kind of distance. So that power fade is going to be in play all week long. Love to see it. The good shot rates out of key proximity buckets from 100 to 200 is pretty solid, considering things haven't necessarily been that good for him on approach. But he's recharged. We know how good he can play, how he can hit his irons. We'll see what he can do. The putting on Bermuda for him, pretty darn solid over the last 50 rounds, 7th in the field there. And then the birdie or better rates over the season have been 20th, which are pretty darn good too, and the par 5 scoring 7th. So there's a lot to like about Wyndham Clark on these kind of venues. 15th in the field, 27th on easy courses. So there's a bit of a drawback there, but I think we can expect this guy's putter to absolutely go bonkers. And, you know, with the fact that he's going to be mashing it down the fairway as far as pretty much Cam Young and co., we can expect him to play some good golf. And at $9,600, he's overpriced a little bit. This guy, if he plays to his capabilities, $9,600 is a fair price to pay for him. And in a short field where lots of ownership's condensed everywhere, single digits on guys that can win tournaments is something you probably want to consider depending on the size of the tournament you enter. I know Darbo's probably shaking his head. He's like, Jesus, Byron, you're talking about ownership again. But hey, some of us, we do that thing. Some of us seek the optimal. I do a bit of both because I'm a fan of your channel, my friend. So saying that out loud just to cover both bases. But if you take a look at that, you know, the pricing is a little rough. It is what it is. Ludwig, I am going to just go all the way across here. Look at this. 4th over the last 24 rounds in recent form. Delightful. But we're going to take a quick peek. And I know it's 133rd. It's probably going to be, it should be like 55th or something. But Ludwig, 5th in round 1 strokes gained average, 2nd in round 2. And then it's just a red box. Let's assume it's 50th, right, out of 59 people. He just doesn't get it together in round 3 on the weekend. He's typically, I know the RSM was the last time he played fantastically, won the damn thing, broke course records, all that jazz. But he has this one round where he just completely tends to eject or get stuck in neutral. And I think at a course like this, to be playing a guy at 29% ownership, I know the price is very appealing for how good of a golfer he is. He's a nervy golfer. I know he played nicely in the Ryder Cup. He was paired with Victor. He got off to a shaky start. Victor was chipping. Like, Victor hit him to the middle of the fairway in hole 1, and then Ludwig hit all the way to the right-hand side of the green, and then Victor chipped it in. So everything went well for him. It went like Luke Donald paired him up with the perfect guy. It was a great success. But I think he landed up losing his singles match to Brooks, who wasn't necessarily playing the best golf that week, when he's didn't have a partner to dance with under the lights. I think it's going to be super intriguing. We've got these major odds of him at like 14 and 12 to 1 to win majors. I understand his driving capabilities are surreal and unbelievably good. Accuracy and distance are just incredible for him. But I think he's a nervy golfer. And I think now that we're in a signature event, it's going to be really interesting to see how he plays with superstars around him. He's been playing in the full swing. Those are guys that aren't necessarily like the Eric Coles of the world, Justin Thomas trying to get into the FedEx Cup top 70, all that kind of crap. We'll see what happens. But in a field like this, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how he matches up against them. He's going to be mega chalk, and I'll be fading him. Going to be a bold strategy. At 29%, $8,700, we'll see what he gets up to. He's been playing good golf. I understand that. Big fish in a small pond, and now that fish is swimming in the Hawaii oceans with some big sharks. We'll see what he can get up to. But I'm out. At that price, I'm out. Or that ownership, I'm out. Going to have to fade someone. He's my guy. It's probably going to burn me. It is what it is. We're going to just take advantage of, hopefully, him struggling a little bit when the lights get brightest and he's amongst some superstars. Max Homer, the only reason I'm kind of contemplating not necessarily playing him too much, par 5 scoring. We've got 4 of those this week. He's 31st in the field in that department. I don't know why Ludwig's the same. The model's going a little wonky on the right-hand side here. Not going to lie to you guys. But Max is typically a very bad par 5 scorer. He doesn't get his stuff together on the par 5s. He makes lots of birdies, but he doesn't necessarily make enough pars when he's making the bogeys. Like these bad holes on the par 5s are bad. So we're out on Max. Depending on ownership, we'll see how it goes. Obviously got that upside, played well the last time he played, and all that jazz. But if you take a look at his recent approach play, hasn't quite been there, but the putter obviously always a weapon for him. Colin Morikawa, $9,100, probably one of the most chalky guys on the slate. Second in the field in course history, recent form. Third in the field, obviously won the Zozo. I don't know. I kind of checked out in the fall swing. Yeah, he won out in Japan when no one was watching. Lights weren't super bright, Japanese hand clappers and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe we fade the 2 chalkiest dudes and just really make millions of dollars this week playing DFS when these 2 guys somehow miraculously don't play well. So we're out on Colin, even though he's a very good option. I understand everything about that. The putter even seems to be moving in the right direction, and the easy score. Oh, Jesus Christ. The easy scoring is very good, isn't it? That's why we have this. But anyway, we'll see. Monitor the ownership. If it gets out of control, we'll have to make some decisions. But Sungjae, I'm out. I don't know what he's doing all the way on this model. Not very good. Great. That's Ricky. Great good course history. Yeah. Apparently, comp course stuff, good. Plays easy course as well. But Ricky spoke to DB about this. He showed up, and that Winnie the Pooh gif, when he won the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Winnie the Pooh's soul just left his body and is still floating through the Milky Way. He won his tournament, and then we played great golf at the freaking US Open. Was that before or afterwards? I can't remember. Either way, what a spineless effort from Ricky on Sunday at the US Open. Could not handle the lights whatsoever. Like when he won the Rocket, it was because of a TIO relief in a playoff after Colin airmailed a pitching wedge over the green. I mean, talk about just life setting you up for a goddamn lemonade when lemon should have been all over his cheeks. But It is what it is. So we're out on Ricky as not inspiring whatsoever. JT Poston, the ownership is not going to be zero. There's some VLOOKUP situations. We've got problematics here. Like I said, long week. JT is going to be quite popular at $7,200 and this high up in the model, right? You take a look at his recent form, 14th in the field. Ball striking, 3rd in the field. I mean, people love a good iron player. You know, we say it. Approach is king over here. Irons and putting. The two things, if you go back to this key stats, friends, take a peek. What's green for the difference between tour average and not? Irons, and I guess the putting is a little negative, but you took a look here. In 2023, the putting was very important. You know, it's turning into a putting fest now that these guys are bombing the distance. The distance becoming a little bit more substantial as the years go by. I think, in particular, 2023 was the time where we've seen like just distance go rogue, you know? So when you have more distance, you have more birdie putts that are makeable. So that's when putting becomes important. I think it'll be a good measuring stick to see. But JT, approach and irons, they're the same thing. Putting and approach, he's very, very good at those. So we'll see what he can get up to. Love JT Poston at $7,200. It's going to be probably pretty popular. But hey, he does his thing. Next up, we got to get out of here. I got a fantasy draft with DGen75, Jeff Feinberg, and Deep Dive Golf here at Win Daily in the next 15 minutes. So we're going to wrap this bad boy up, and then hopefully you guys can join us over there. Cameron Young is on the card. 14-1 in the upside ranking. Safety is 12th. Recent form, not the best, 35th in the field, but he fired his caddy. And I'm not even going to pull up the model. I'm going to pull my face up again, use my nice 4K camera that I still haven't figured out the zoom and all that jazz. But Cameron Young, he has an incredible baseline. He's one of the most skilled golfers out there. And then Paul Tesori, I think, broke him. He was playing great golf at the World Golf Championships. And then Sam Burns finally snuck it away from him there. He had made the most birdies all week. He was filling it up. Driver, wedge. Driver, wedge. That's what he can do. He's first in the field in distance. That's what we need here. He's a good wedge player when he's playing well. He's a good putter when he's playing well. And he's 50-1 and got a new caddy. The last time he had a new caddy, he lost in the match play playoff, you know, in the final championship game. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's what it is. That's the reason we're betting Cam Young. He's going to win at a course that's very chilled. You know, take him and his wife and the kids out there. He's going to have a good time. He's going to have fun. The caddy change maybe is going to be the angle we take. I know he's not playing good golf right now. I am the model maniac. We've got to listen to what the numbers tell us. But sometimes numbers don't mean anything without context. And he booted his context out the window along with Paul's yapper Tesori. Great caddy. Great for Webb. I think Cam Young's far too chill for Paul to just be yapping his ear off 4 rounds a week kind of thing. 5-6 rounds a week. You know what I'm saying? So we like Cam Young. 50-1 each way. Off we go. I'm also going to tell you now, we bet Tony Finau at 33-1. And we'll pull it up for Tony. The model not necessarily the most excited about him. But what I saw for Tony is, if you think about, we used some comp courses for Augusta, the Genesis. And if you want to think about it, he is a phenomenal player at Mexico. Wide open fairways, big greens, low scoring. He's the reigning champ. By the way, bet 365, 18-1 Tony Finau to win the Mexico Open as a returning champion. He closed at 8-1 last year with John Rahm in the field, who was the reigning champ. Guess what John Rahm's going to be doing during the Mexico Open? Playing somewhere in Boston or something on Live. So John Rahm's not in the field. Tony Finau's got slapped with the returning champion number of 18-1 at a golf course that suits him to the T. He's finished second and first there the last 2 times he's played. Hello, 18-1. By the time the week rolls around, it's going to be 5-1. There's no one else good that goes and plays that tournament. He said he's going to go defend his title. That's the reason we get that number. Bet 365. Find friends, find family, find fans. Make sure you get in on that action. That is going to be a closing line value. victory lap like I've never had before in my life. That number's wrong. Anyway, we're going to bet him this week as well. And if he wins this week, holy shoot, is that number going to plummet? The boy I saw out there in the Euro World Challenge, he posted that Power Ranger video of him on Twitter, right? And he was getting up to like 180 ball speed or 190 something ball speed. Guy was mashed potatoesing it all freaking time. And at the Euro, he was one of the top driving distance guys. I think he's figured out, look, I'm goddamn Tony Finau. What am I doing holding back on the big stick, especially with these wide-ass fairways now? Send it, drive it 1,000,000 miles, approach 185, 190 miles per hour ball speed, give yourself a wedge, which you are very good at doing. We've seen Tony Finau win at the 3M, at the Rocket, at Mexico, where things are very easy to do. Look at this. He's a wedge god. 6th and 9th in the 2 proximity buckets for good shots and strokes gained outside of 100 to 200. From 100 to 200, he's 6th and 9th in those two different situations. Very good out the rough as well because of his immense strength and speed. Let's see what Tony can get up to. The putting is a problem, but we saw he's wagging that putter now. Seems like he's putting okay. We'll hopefully bank on some putting to come back to form and see where he can go there. So definitely throwing Tony Finau on the card, 33-1. If we want to take a peek at Tony Finau's top 20 number, it's -110. And to me, that seems extremely appetizing, considering his ability to play well on these kind of courses, considering we're actually going to be on him, considering he played quite nicely at the Euro. It showed he was playing some good golf. Let's see. Let's see what he can get up to. -110 for Tony. Should we freeze the screen again? Yes. Nice. Okay, good. We're going to freeze that one in. -110. Screen's not going to move. We've got the spinning blue wheel of death, and off we go. But he's on the card. 33-1 to win this tournament. -110 for a top 20 on DraftKings for Big Tony. Look at these calm courses. He likes these kind of places. So we'll see what he can get up to. Next up in our model, 18th for safety, 24th for upside is Sahith Theegala. Kind of also, I think he played a lot of golf last year, 23 tournaments. I think he kind of fizzled out until he got to his native state of California and won the Fortinet. So he's won a tournament now. He hadn't done that. He's come close many, many times. And he does it at courses where the driver can get a little away from him. Played pretty nice at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, a few times. He's played well at Riviera. He's played well at Augusta. Take a look at these calm courses. It's 11th. Didn't play typically that well. I don't know if he's played at the Shriners or not, but played top 10s at Augusta and Riv this year. So we go to a course like this, wide open fairways. Take a look. The distance is 22nd in the field. Accuracy, 56th. Not very good. But the distance is solid, so we can expect that to not change whatsoever. And then we get the putting. That's 4th in the field, friends. He's a beast with the putter. He does his thing very, very nicely. And then when you come to birdie or better rates, he's 17th in the field in that department. And then I think the driver gets him in trouble on the par 5s to get all the way down to 43rd there. So we'll see what he can get up to. But we know he can light it up with the putter. We know how good of a wedge player he can be. And we know that the accuracy is not going to be that big of a drawback this week. So we love Sahith, love him with the distance off the tee, love the putter just getting full-on Scott Holdridge pink boxes over here, and we're going to go balls to the wall. I had one more person. Got old Cam Kerr over here. Crazy. What's up, my brother? See you soon. I've got, I'll give away the guest for next week. Next week's Back Nine guest is going to be Twitterless Steve. I have his phone number. He's coming on the show. I have to email him the link, but he's on the show. And it's going to be a fun series that he's doing because he's chosen Breaking Bad. So we're going to be doing Breaking Bad. We're going to be casting golfers into that role, and I'm looking forward to a good time with him. Scott Holdridge and I in the same fantasy league, yes. So Cam Young, great fantasy pick. I don't know about long term, but I definitely like his chances this week, Scotty, which I'll be going to another fantasy draft just shortly. So we've spoken about pretty much everybody. We've spoken about Cam. We've spoken about Tony. We've spoken about Eric. Cantley, Who the hell else did we... Where on earth are we, friends? Let's make sure we've spoken just about everybody. Cam, Tony, and Sahith. Beautiful. Bit of a janky show. I'll have some solid finite picks coming out tomorrow morning with Breaking 100. We'll do the three ball parlays that we cashed in pretty nicely at the RSM. That was very nice. So hopefully we can roll another one of those out there. We seem to hit those much easier than we even do outrights. But from my 4K cam in the new lit up studio over here at Back 9 Bets headquarters, I want to thank you all for tuning in for episode 81 of Back 9 Bets, the Sentry Tournament of Champions. Feel free to use code Maniac, 10% off all that jazz for premium stuff. And come over to the Win Daily channel here. We're going to have some fun guests, some fun stuff. We're going to be doing this fantasy draft here, having a blast. So till next time, we will see you guys on the flip side there.